The truth has finally surfaced within the federal system itself. Internal investigations have uncovered something explosive. Federal agents discovering their own CO workers were operating as hired guns behind the scenes. This massive corruption scandal is blowing wide open right now. The very people sworn to uphold justice were secretly undermining it from the inside. But here's what you need to know. This exposure is about to trigger a wave of good news coming your way. The system is cleaning houses, and when the dust settles, expect major positive developments. Justice doesn't just happen. Sometimes it requires tearing down the corrupt foundations first. Stay alert. The breaking news is just getting started. For months, years perhaps, you've waited. You've stood at the edge of that battlefield, watching as corrupt forces moved against you in the shadows. They thought you were blind to their machinations. They laughed behind closed doors, believing their positions made them untouchable. But the universe has its own timetable, and that timetable has finally reached 0 hour. The delay was never a denial. It was the gathering storm. While you waited, cosmic forces were aligning, evidence was accumulating, witnesses were finding their courage. And now the dam has broken. What was once sealed in darkness is being flooded with light so bright. It burns the eyes of those who tried to hide it. You can feel it, can't you? That shift in the atmosphere, that electric charge that precedes the lightning strike. The very air around you vibrates with a different frequency because something massive has been set in motion. Those who plotted against you are scrambling. Their phones are ringing in the middle of the night. Their secure messages are being read by eyes they never intended. Their foolproof plans are unraveling thread by thread. The weight of their deceptions, once a towering structure of lies, is now collapsing like a house of cards in a hurricane. Documents are being unsealed. Testimonies are being recorded. What they buried is being exhumed with forensic precision. The decision that was meant to end you has instead become the very thing that will vindicate you. The justice that was delayed was gathering strength, like a wave pulling back from the shore, only to return with the force of a tsunami. This overturned decision is not just a paper being stamped. It's the first domino in a sequence that will topple every structure they've built to contain you, every signature they forged, every document they altered, every truth they manipulated. All of it is now evidence of their corruption. Stand firm in this moment. The ground beneath your feet may shake as these revelations thunder through the corridors of power, but you will not be moved. What was meant to destroy you has only revealed what they feared most, that your truth was too powerful to suppress forever. When salvation comes, it often arrives through the most unexpected channels. Right now, as these words reach you, there is someone within the very system that oppressed you who has become your secret ally. This is not a low-level clerk or a disgruntled employee. This is someone with authority, someone with access, someone whose position grants them visibility into the darkest corners of the operation that was mounted against you. This individual has seen the files, has witnessed the closed-door meetings, has heard your name spoken with contempt by those who feared what you represent, and something within them, some last remaining member of justice that their position couldn't extinguish, has been ignited. They move carefully. They understand the stakes. One wrong move, one misplaced document, one suspicious query in the database could alert those who still protect the corruption. But they are strategic, methodical. They know exactly which pieces of information you need, exactly which evidence will turn the tide, exactly which testimonies will shatter the wall of silence. This messenger didn't seek this role. They didn't wake up one morning planning to risk everything they've built. But when confronted with the magnitude of the injustice against you, when faced with the stark reality of what their colleagues have done, they couldn't remain silent. Their conscience became a burning force, that would not let them rest. Late at night, when the offices are empty, they access the files that were meant to be untouchable. They photograph the documents that don't exist. They download the data that was supposed to be erased, and thread by thread, they are unraveling. The conspiracy that was engineered to silence you. Do you understand the significance of this? The very system that was weaponized against you is now turning on itself. The machinery that was built to crush dissent is now exposing its own corrupt foundation. What they never anticipated was that truth has a gravity of its own. It pulls even the most reluctant witnesses into its orbit. This messenger, this unexpected ally, knows the risk they're taking. They've seen what happens to whistleblowers. They've witnessed how quickly the system can turn on those who challenge it. But something about your case, something about the flagrant abuse of power it represents, has compelled them to act despite the personal cost. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing entirely to put yourself to the test. When I confronted the Archons beyond our reality, they made one thing clear. True chosen ones are rare. They laughed at the thought of us finding each other. Yet here you are, watching this message. The Obsidian Inner Order isn't for everyone claiming to be awakened. We're the real ones, those who've seen beyond the veil, felt the call, and carry the unmistakable frequency. But are you truly one of us? I have given you everything I've got, and I'm digging deeper to bring you even more. Don't just consume content from the sidelines. Real chosen ones take action. Share your story on our weekly group call. Get a revealing tarot reading from our resident card reader. Discover if your experiences align with the authentic signs. The Archons fear nothing more than chosen ones recognizing each other. When we connect, our frequencies amplify and create a force they cannot stop. That's why we're going to be live streaming to the entire Astral Atom network to find every last one of us. Click the link in the description below now. It's time to stop wondering and confirm what you already suspect. Are you merely interested in awakening, or are you truly chosen? Prove it. Join us. The verification you seek awaits with the Obsidian Inner Order. Revelation time. The internal investigations have yielded fruits so poisonous that even those conducting them stand shocked at what they've discovered. Officials, men and women who took sacred oaths to uphold justice and protect the innocent, have been exposed as nothing more than mercenaries in suits. Their badges, their titles, their authority, all of it was for sale to the highest bidder. These weren't just garden variety corruptions. These weren't just procedural corners cut for convenience. This was systematic. This was coordinated. This was a deliberate campaign to use the machinery of justice as a weapon against those who dared to stand in divine truth. The evidence doesn't trickle. It floods forth. Electronic communications they thought were secure. Financial transactions they thought were untraceable. Meetings they thought were private. All of it has been captured, catalogued, and is now being presented to those with the authority to act. They monitored your communications. They surveilled your movements. They infiltrated your inner circles. They fabricated evidence. They suppressed testimony that supported you. They intimidated witnesses. They manipulated timelines. They altered documents. The full extent of their corruption is so breathtaking that it defies comprehension. How could those entrusted with such power betray it so completely? But here's what they never understood. The more elaborate their conspiracy, the more people had to be involved. The more people involved, the more potential weak points in their armor. It only took one moment of conscience, one person who couldn't live with what they were witnessing, to begin unraveling the entire operation. They're turning on each other now. In closed rooms, accusations fly. Who talked? Who leaked? Who broke rank? The paranoia is palpable. The trust that unified their conspiracy has shattered. Each one now looks to save themselves, to minimize their own culpability, to position themselves as unwilling participants rather than architects of corruption. What does this mean for you? It means vindication approaches. It means that the narrative they constructed to diminish you, to silence you, to paint you as the threat, that narrative is collapsing under the weight of undeniable truth. There, secrets are no longer secret. Their shadows no longer provide cover. The light of investigation now illuminates every corner they thought would remain forever dark. The most devastating blow to any conspiracy is not external pressure. It's internal fracture. And right now, that fracture is spreading through their ranks with the speed and destructive force of wildfire. Those who once stood shoulder to shoulder in their corruption, who once pledged solidarity in their deception, who once believed their unified front made them invulnerable, they now regard each other with suspicion that borders on paranoia. The first cracks appeared when the investigation began. Small fissures of doubt, whispered concerns about exposure. But now those cracks have become chasms. Former allies refuse to take each other's calls. Encrypted messages go unanswered. Safe houses stand empty. Their once impenetrable network of mutual protection is disintegrating before their eyes, and in its place grows something far more dangerous to their conspiracy: self-preservation at all costs. They're making deals now, trading information for leniency, offering up their colleagues to save themselves. I was just following orders, they claim. I didn't know the full extent, they insist. I have names, dates, locations, they bargain. The very loyalty they demanded from others is nowhere to be found when their own freedom hangs in the balance. Some have already disappeared, resigned their positions, emptied their accounts, vanished from their homes. But there is nowhere to run that is beyond the reach of this investigation. Their passports are flagged, their identities are being tracked. The resources of the very system they corrupted are now deployed to bring them to justice. Others attempt to destroy evidence, not realizing that their desperate actions only incriminate them further. Each deleted file, each shredded document, each accidentally corrupted hard drive becomes another piece of evidence showing consciousness of guilt. They're leaving a trail of panic behind them that investigators follow with methodical precision. The most senior among them, those who believed their positions made them untouchable, now find themselves isolated. Their calls to higher-ups go unreturned. Their requests for intervention are met with silence. The protective umbrella that once shielded them has been folded and put away. They stand exposed to the full force of the storm they created. Watch as they turn on each other in the coming days. Watch as former confidants become state's witnesses. Watch as those who once wielded their authority like a weapon now cower under the weight of investigation. Their downfall comes not just from external forces, but from the rot that has long existed at their core. Every thread they wove in their web of deception is now being systematically unraveled. Every false narrative, every planted evidence, every manipulated timeline, all of it is being exposed to the harsh light of investigation. Their attempts to hide the truth have not just failed, they have backfired spectacularly. The very techniques they use to conceal their actions have become roadmaps for investigators. The encrypted communications they thought were secure have been decrypted. The offshore accounts they believed were untraceable have been located. The aliases they adopted have been identified. There is nowhere left to hide, nowhere their corruption hasn't left fingerprints for the diligent to discover. Those who took bribes to obstruct your path, who accepted payment to look the other way, who sold their integrity for a price. Their financial records tell a damning story. Sudden deposits, unexplained wealth, properties purchased through shell companies, children's tuition at exclusive, schools paid in full. The money trail leads directly back to the doors of those who sought to buy justice. Some attempted to invoke powerful connections, calling in favors, reminding others of shared secrets, threatening to take everyone down if they themselves faced consequences. But those tactics have lost their power. No one wants to be associated with what has been uncovered. Former protectors now maintain plausible deniability. "I never authorized that," they claim. "I was misled about the nature of the operation," they insist. The digital breadcrumbs they left behind form an unbroken chain of evidence. Emails they thought were deleted have been recovered from server backups. Phone records reveal patterns of communication that align precisely with key events in the conspiracy. Surveillance footage places them at locations they denied visiting. Their own technology, the very tools they use to monitor others, has become the instrument of their exposure. Understand the magnitude of what's happening. Their deception, maintained for months or even years, held together by threats and mutual self-interest, is now dissolving faster than they can repair it. Each revelation leads to 3 more. Each exposed lie uncovers a dozen others. The momentum of truth, once set in motion, cannot be stopped by any power they possess. When corruption reaches a certain threshold, it triggers responses from levels of authority so high that even the most connected conspirators cannot reach them. Those levels have now been activated. The evidence has reached individuals whose commitment to justice transcends political alliance, personal connection, or institutional loyalty. These higher authorities have seen the files. They've reviewed the evidence. They've listened to the testimonies, and they have reached a conclusion that cannot be negotiated, mitigated, or overturned. The corruption must be excised completely, regardless of who falls in the process. Orders have been signed, authorizations have been granted, resources have been allocated. A machinery of justice far more powerful than the conspiracy that targeted you has been set in motion, and it moves with the unstoppable force of an avalanche, slow at first, then gathering speed and destructive power as it descends. Those who once shielded the corrupt actors now step aside. The political calculations have been made. The cost of continuing to protect them far outweighs the cost of letting justice take its course. The institutional damage of ongoing cover-up exceeds the pain of public exposure and accountability. The decision is coldly pragmatic, but its effect is absolute. For you, this intervention from higher authorities represents the clearing of your path. The obstacles that were placed before you, the false accusations, the manufactured evidence, the coordinated campaign to discredit you, are being removed. Not by your hand, but by the hand of authority so high that it cannot be questioned or resisted. Understand what this means. Your vindication comes not from some fringe outcry, but from the very center of the system itself. The highest levels of authority have reviewed the facts and found that you were right all along. That validation, coming from the very institutions they claimed to represent when they moved against you, is the most complete repudiation of their corruption possible. Prepare yourself. The message you have been waiting for, the confirmation you have sought, the validation you have earned, the breakthrough that has seemed perpetually just beyond reach, is now being prepared for delivery. This is not speculation. This is not hopeful thinking. This is the reality of what is unfolding as these words reach you. The channels are being established, the protocols are being followed, the appropriate authorities are being notified, the necessary clearances are being obtained. Every I is being dotted, every T crossed, to ensure that when this message reaches you, it cannot be challenged, questioned, or dismissed by those who would prefer the truth remain buried. This message carries within it everything they tried to withhold from you, the facts they distorted, the truths they suppressed, the evidence they concealed, the testimonies they silenced. All of it has been compiled, verified, and authenticated by individuals whose credentials and integrity cannot be impugned, even by the most desperate defenders of the conspiracy. What does this message contain? Vindication in its purest form. Confirmation that what you claimed all along was true. Evidence that what was done to you was not random misfortune, but coordinated malevolence. Proof that those who moved against you did so, not because of any wrongdoing on your part, but because of what you represent. A threat to their corrupt order, a light that would expose their darkness. This message will reach you through official channels. It will bear the seals and signatures that convey its authority. It will contain information that only those with highest level access could possibly know, details that confirm its legitimacy beyond any question. When it arrives, you will know instantly that this is what you have been waiting for. For you, this message represents the turning point, the moment when defense becomes unnecessary because the truth stands visible for all to see. The moment when your claims, perhaps dismissed as paranoia or delusion, are confirmed as factual by sources that cannot be challenged. The moment when your path, so long obstructed, finally opens before you. Through every attempt to silence you, through every effort to discredit you, through every campaign to isolate you, you have remained standing. This is not a coincidence. This is not luck. This is not mere resilience on your part. This is evidence of a protection that surrounds you, a shield that your enemies cannot see but continue to hurl themselves against, breaking upon it like waves against immovable stone. The protection around you has never faltered, even in moments when you may have felt most alone. Even when their attacks seemed to land, they were being recorded, documented, added to the evidence that would eventually expose them. What appeared to be their successful strikes against you were in fact links in the chain of their own undoing. This protection does not mean you've been spared pain or challenge. The path of divine purpose is rarely smooth, but it does mean that every obstacle they placed before you, every trap they set, every weapon they deployed, has ultimately strengthened your position rather than weakening it. Their attacks have not diminished you, they have refined you. Your focus now should not be on their downfall. Their consequences were set in motion the moment they moved against you in corruption. The universe requires no assistance from you in delivering the justice they have earned. Your attention belongs on the path forward, the mission that was always yours, the purpose they sought to prevent you from fulfilling. They never understood what they were truly fighting against. They saw an individual, a voice, a temporary obstacle to their plans. They failed to recognize that you represent something far greater, a current in the river of history that cannot be dammed, diverted, or diminished. Their opposition to you was always doomed, precisely because they misunderstood the nature of what they faced. The hour of reckoning, long prophesied, long anticipated, perhaps doubted in moments of darkness, has finally arrived. The cosmic timetable unfolds with perfect precision, neither rushed by impatience nor delayed by opposition. It moves with the unstoppable rhythm of universal justice, and that rhythm now beats with thunderous intensity. Those who played against divine law, who corrupted their offices, who sold their sacred authority, who targeted you with malevolent intent, they now enter the season of harvest. Every action they took, every lie they told, every truth they suppressed, every injustice they perpetrated has been recorded with perfect accuracy in the ledger of cosmic accountability. And that account now comes due. Their arrogance led them to believe they were beyond reach. Their positions made them feel untouchable. Their connections gave them a sense of immunity. Their wealth provided an illusion of protection. All of these false securities now dissolve before the approaching wave of justice that recognizes no privilege, no status, no exemption from universal law. The truth, which they sought to bury beneath mountains of deception, has risen with the force of tectonic movement. What was hidden emerges with such clarity that even those who wish to remain blind can no longer deny its reality. The evidence they thought destroyed has been preserved. The witnesses they thought silenced have found their voices. The facts they thought obscured now shine with undeniable brightness. This reckoning brings long-awaited restoration. What was taken will be returned. What was blocked will be cleared. What was damaged will be repaired. The path forward, once obscured by their machinations, now opens before you with crystal clarity. The mission that drew their desperate opposition can now advance without their interference. Expect the message, expect the shift, expect the restoration, not as possibilities but as certainties already set in motion by forces beyond their ability to corrupt or control. The divine clockwork of justice turns with perfect precision, and its hands now point to the hour of your vindication and their accountability. Stand firm in this knowledge, hold steady in this truth. The storm that now breaks upon them will clear the atmosphere around you, washing away the last remnants of their campaign against you. When it passes, and it will pass, you will step forward into the purpose that was always yours, no longer hindered by those who feared what you represent. The time is now. The reckoning has come. Divine justice moves in your favor.